hafla za kidini, mahafali,
unani, waoka keki, wapishi, wapambaji, wapiga picha.
Pata fursa ya kutangaza kazi zako. Ni kila Jumamosi saa 3 kamili usiku katika kituo chako bora cha ITV Superbrand Afrika Mashariki.
Lete video ya sherehe yako iliyohaririwa kwa ubora wa picha na sauti inayoanzia dakika 5 kwa gharama ya shilingi 350,000. Kwa maelezo zaidi wasiliana na idara ya masoko ITV.
In Capital News tonight, World Bank to allocate remaining $1.7 billion loan to Tanzania. Electrical shot causes patients to run out of Manyoni District Hospital. And in sports, Simba Sports Club captain John Boko might miss the CAF Champions League second leg against UD Songa due to injuries. Good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Vanessa Victor. Let's start off with the national news. The relationship between the World Bank and Tanzania has improved after the executive director of the bank in Africa, Anne Kabagambe, assured the Minister of Finance and Planning that the bank will give Tanzania all of the remaining $1.7 billion loan from the 18th International Development Association allocation. She made the statement in Dar es Salaam during talks with the Minister of Finance and Planning, Dr. Philip Mpango. She said the loan will be used to implement education, health projects, as well as support poor families through Tanzania's Social Action Fund and urban and economic development projects in Zanzibar.
I had come to inform the Honorable Minister that the World Bank is back actively in business with the Republic of Tanzania. As we speak, we expect that we will be able to utilize all the resources of what we call the IDA 18 window, which is currently remaining with $1.7 billion. These resources are going to go into education projects, into health, into urban development, and economic inclusion on the island of Zanzibar.
If you can help us entice the bank to change and support us in doing this railway, we are going to transform this region completely. If we do a link from Twara Port, that will service Malawi. We do the Central Railway line, that will service the entire of Tanzania mainland, save the eastern part of DRC, save Rwanda, save our brothers and sisters in Uganda. This will be a completely different region.
And patients admitted at Manyoni District Hospital in Singida region were forced to run out of the hospital, some of them with drips, when a loud noise was heard from the electricity equipment room. The District Commissioner of Manyoni, Rahabu Magisa, who went to the hospital to look into the cause of the electrical fault, directed the staff at the hospital to ensure fire preparedness education was provided and for the fire brigade to speed up construction of the forces office in the district.
When I heard the storm, we all ran away, including myself. I forgot if I was on intravenous therapy because my life was in danger and I had to rescue myself. When I reached out, there was a huge fire. This problem could have costed lives of so many people. I would also like to take this opportunity to call for fire brigade to have a station in this district because this district is huge with 2 big councils meaning that there are many people living here whom one day they will need their support.
And the sixth witness in the incitement case facing 9 leaders of opposition Chadema party, who include the chairman, Freeman Mbowe, has said that the area where the meeting to end the party's election campaigns for Kinondoni constituency where it was held did not have. Witness Corporal Charles told the court that he was assigned to report and take pictures of the Chadema campaign meeting, and that when he got there, he found preparations of the meeting were underway and people were turning up. The six facing 13 charges, which include at Kisutu Resident Magistrate Court in Dar es Salaam. And surgeons at Mwimbili National Hospital in Dar es Salaam have spoken on the condition of victims of the Morogoro oil tanker fire accident, saying they are doing all they can to save the lives of the remaining casualties after 32 out of 47 who were admitted at the hospital died.
First defense ambayo haipo tena.
I would like to say that when the skin is open, there is no longer any first line of defense. It should be noted that the skin prevents what is on the inside from coming out. However, now that the skin is open, what is on the inside is free to come out. At this point, I would like to say that 75% of our bodies is water, and in the event of the skin being open, the water inside is now free to come out, and a lot of it is lost. I would like to state that the smoke went all the way until it reached inside their lungs. This, of course, was jeopardizing their lives. First, we gave them treatment. First of all, so as to prevent them from feeling cold, we hooked up all of them to drips because they had lost a lot of water in their bodies. I would like to state that we had received 700 units of blood from various people living here in Dar es Salaam and various other areas. I would also like to highlight the fact that even the Tabora Regional Commissioner donated 100 units of blood. In the wider picture, though, I would like to remind Tanzanians that they should not just donate blood during troubling events like this one.
As the government has commended media houses in the country on their coverage of the 39th Southern Africa Development Community SADC Summit, saying they showed professionalism, patriotism and readiness. The tribute was given by the Minister of Foreign Affairs and East African Cooperation, Professor Palamagamba Kabudi, in Dar es Salaam during a meeting with media executives, editors and journalists.
We had issues of national interest and we stood together. So during the 39th meeting of SADC heads of state, all newspapers, television stations, radio stations and other media outlets, I made a close follow-up during the SADC Industrial Week, and during the meeting you had one objective, which was to inform the general public about what was going on in a positive light, knowing that this is of national interest. By doing so, you've witnessed how all countries in the southern region respect, commend and recognize our country as a leader in this regard.
Vice President Samia Suluhu Hassan said that the government of Tanzania supports changes made to the development system of the United Nations in various areas and that Tanzania will continue to implement the second development plan for UN support. She made the statement in Dar es Salaam during talks with the UN resident coordinator Alvaro Rodriguez, who had visited her to bid her farewell after completing his stay in Tanzania.
And we wish you success wherever you are going.
Thank you.
Yeah,
no,
as
you
I
will,
told
will
you,
remain in touch.
Turkey is a difficult station nowadays.
Whatever little hair I have will be
gone.
Yeah. Because I lost quite a bit here.
Oh, yes.
But I'll lose even more.
Yeah. But I know you are going to do a good job there.
We'll try.
The same way you did in Tanzania.
But it's been very special here.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it tremendously.
Should be gone, and now you stand on your own and you do your work. But we are very grateful.
We stayed long, including from the government. So they said, no, but it's 5 years. They never knew anything.
Yeah. But nowadays it's a difficult
very
workstation.
3.5 million refugees.
And the power blackouts in Kagera region has entered into its third day due to electricity problems from neighboring Uganda. The situation has caused more than 128,000 residents in Bukoba Municipal to face acute water problems. Some of the residents are now using water from Lake Victoria and rivers for domestic purposes.
For our plant to work and produce water, we must have electricity. Since a day before yesterday, we have failed to perform production activities. But as an authority, there are some efforts undergone in curbing the situation, including from other sources in order to cater for crucial like hospitals and prisons. As traders who run hotels and restaurants, we are highly affected by this situation because hygiene issues have become more sensitive since there is no water and electricity. The situation is very bad. It is just 3 days. How are we going to survive if the problem persists?
And the police force in Mwanza who died after the suspects invaded the village government office in Mgombani, Sengerema district, attacking him with sticks, stones and traditional weapons. Mwanza Police Commander Muliro Jumanne Muliro said
This incident occurred on August the 28th at around 10 a.m., whereby one suspect, Samuel John, was arrested for theft. He was taken to the village council office, whereby he was locked up. The chairman then contacted the police. When the police were on their way, some people forcibly removed the suspect and beat him. When the chairman tried to stop them, he was also beaten. There was another suspect by the name of Frederick Chigula, aged 37, a resident of Mbezi Beach, who is using government officers' names to con people. I urge the general public to provide us with intelligence so that such persons can be arrested.
And that's all for national news. International news is next. And in international news, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan has been sworn in as chairman of Sudan's newly formed sovereign council that will steer the country through a 3-year transition into civilian rule. Here are more details.
Al-Burhan headed the Transitional Military Council (TMC), which ruled the country since longtime leader Omar al-Bashir was deposed in April. Prime Minister nominee Abdallah Hamdok, as well as the remaining 10 members of the Sovereign Council, were also sworn in later on Wednesday. Sudan's pro-democracy movement and the army announced a joint ruling body on Tuesday, days after they signed a final power-sharing deal following pressure from the United States, the African Union and its Arab allies amid growing concerns the political crisis could ignite a civil war. The council includes and 5 soldiers. It will be headed for 21 months by Al-Burhan, followed by a civilian leader appointed by the protest movement for the remaining 12 months.
Maliha Muhammad, a 36-year-old chef in Mombasa, Kenya, has broken the World Guinness record after cooking for 75 hours, a record which was held by Ricky Lumpkin from the United States, which he broke in December 2018 after cooking for 68 hours, 30 minutes and 1 second.
The road was very difficult because of the pain I felt on my legs from standing for so long and for lack of sleep. I would sleep for half an hour for every 12 hours I spent cooking. I'm happy and I was able to do this due to my parents and God. I am happy to see my mother achieve this goal. I want to be like her. She will be invited to different countries showcasing our food to different people so that it can promote tourism for us.
So Boris Johnson is in Berlin today for his first trip as British Prime Minister. This is a significant day in Berlin, and with more on the impact as well as implications this trip will have, I have with me Thomas Sparrow, our Deutsche Welle correspondent. Thomas, this is Boris Johnson's first trip as Prime Minister. How significant is it to Germany, and what are the political implications of his visit?
It is certainly an important visit by Boris Johnson, not only because he chose Berlin as the first destination. He will also go to Paris, and then he will join other leaders for the G7 summit. So this explains the importance of this trip as a whole. And it is also important because of the message that he is trying to present. He would like to change the withdrawal agreement that was signed by his predecessor, Theresa May, with the European Union, at least parts of it. And in particular, he is against the so-called backstop that wants to prevent a hard border between the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland. And it is important that he brings that message because it does not seem likely that European leaders will actually move in the direction that he wants to. European leaders, and in particular Chancellor Merkel as well, have stressed that they believe the backstop is an important decision, that they believe the withdrawal agreement, which was negotiated during a long time and which is a compromise between both parties, is the way forward. And they have said that they're not interested in reopening that withdrawal agreement, that they're interested in discussing probably elements of the future relationship, that other document that was agreed on by the different political leaders, but they're not interested in touching the backstop or in reopening the withdrawal agreement. So it seems here that we've got two very different visions, and it is unlikely, or at least very difficult, to predict whether there will be any compromise, any area in which Boris Johnson, in his first trip to Europe, and the European leaders that he will be meeting, will come to sort of a middle ground where they can find compromise.
As you said, the G7 that's to be held in France, it's just around the corner. What does he intend to achieve there? As you said, especially since he said that he would not hold talks with EU leaders until they agreed to get rid of the controversial Irish backstop, which you just mentioned.
Well, if you want to present it in a very simple way, you could say that it's all about a blame game, that both parts, the European Union and the United Kingdom, have been blaming the other side for what they believe is a sort of non-capacity to budge or to move or to be more flexible. In the end, that is also important for both parties if it doesn't go the way they intend, but that's a very simple answer to it. It's much more complicated when you actually look into the details, and in fact it is something that will be discussed not only here in Berlin but also in France, and then obviously in that big meeting, the G7 with all the other leaders. Brexit will certainly, or at least most probably, be one of the key topics in discussion, and it comes down to that question of trying to find middle ground somehow, because Boris Johnson has indicated that the UK will leave the European Union on the 31st of October with or without a deal. The European Union has indicated that it would prefer that to be with a deal, but that it's also making preparations for a no-deal scenario. So it will be interesting to see, not only in the bilateral meetings today and tomorrow, but also in the G7 forum, what exactly can be achieved, if anything, because at least most predictions now in advance of those meetings say that since both parties don't want to move, it will be probably very unlikely that there will be some compromise.
Okay, as you've mentioned, now the German government has been preparing for a no-deal Brexit, passing over 50 laws as well as transitional arrangements. Can you tell us a bit more about this?
Indeed. So the German government, and by the way, not only the German government, but other governments in the European Union as well, and the European Union as an institution as well, have been preparing for all possible scenarios, as they like to put it. So they have been preparing for a transition period in case of a deal, in case the UK does leave with that withdrawal agreement and with the future relationship document as well. But at the same time, it seems more likely, and you can see that also from some of the statements that have come from different political leaders in the European Union, that the United Kingdom will be leaving with a no deal, in a no deal scenario, again, because it is very difficult to find a compromise between what Boris Johnson wants and what the European Union leaders want. So as such, German leaders and European leaders as well have been preparing for the no deal scenario by passing, as you mentioned, various laws and regulations, and the key goal there is to try and minimize the impact of a potential no deal, because a potential no deal comes, at least if you judge by some analysis and by some experts, it will come with a lot of uncertainty. And as you know, uncertainty is both politically and economically something which is not seen as a good political or economic scenario. So the goals and the regulations that have been put in place are trying to minimize any negative political or economic impact that will arise from a no-deal scenario, if indeed that is a decision that the United Kingdom takes on the 31st of October, if indeed it leaves without a deal.
Thank you very much, Thomas, for this insight. We look forward to seeing how it all pans out. And that is all for international news. Do stay with us. We'll be back with business news after this break.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
To be rich, I have to be a business person.
It's not an easy road at all.
People need to understand. You must quickly think, how cost effective are you going to be?
Business acts as a way in which it can bridge that gap.
Business Edition will keep you informed on latest developments in the financial sector, extractive industry, tourism, agriculture, energy, construction, and so much more. Meet entrepreneurs who create employment opportunities. Watch Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Welcome back, and on to business news. The Minister of Industry and Trade, Innocent Bashungwa, has said that the government will cooperate with development partners in ensuring the small and medium entrepreneurs policy enables women to access capital in order to increase production and speed up industrial development in the country.
Our intention is to combine the UN women policies with industrial SME policies so as to ensure that even the support provided by development stakeholders is focused towards implementing an SME policy that helps women in the country. It does not mean that policies stand alone. There needs to be a conducive environment. You find that women's education is low. Thus, it is important to direct a lot of energy towards ensuring that women are educated, self-aware, and can manage. Thus, I am happy to go to receive estimates. We have been able to know what are the benefits of our taxes, and we are happy to know that our taxes are not wasted.
Avocado market specialists from Kenya have advised farmers in Jombe as well as Southern Highland regions to form farmers groups, as this will make it easier to sell their produce directly to the European market instead of depending on Kenya as the only market.
I am certain that I will produce better quality, and I am now aware that Kenyans are not the only buyers. At the end of the day, I will go and sell my fruits out of the country through my union.
That's it for business. Sports is next.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's going to be dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's going to be dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Joaquinho, he did lose to Len.
And in sports. Simba Sports Club captain John Boko might miss the CAF Champions League second leg against UD Songa due to injuries.
As I said, he's under close watch of the doctors. It is still 50-50. Currently, the possibility is small. With the time remaining, it is highly doubtful that he will be in the Sunday squad.
The KMC head coach says he does not depend on individual skills of his players, but teamwork as he faces AS Kigali in the second leg of the CAF Confederation Cup.
He might not be playing in this game, but you see, as a coach, you must always not depend on individual players. So you only need to have to see where can I put this one and I try to put this one. So because the game is there, you cannot say that because he is not there, this one is not there, all strikers are not there. Then we say you guys are gathered here, too many players, the game is put off. Because the team doesn't have strikers. We have to try to improvise.
Frank Ribery has joined Fiorentina on a free transfer after leaving Bayern Munich at the end of last season. Here's more.
The Serie A side confirmed the French winger's arrival on their official website, adding that Ribery will be presented at a press conference on Thursday before his official unveiling at the Stadio Artemio Franchi that evening. Earlier on Wednesday, the club had posted live footage of the 36-year-old arriving in Florence by private jet. Wearing the team's purple shirt and holding up a scarf, Ribery said, "I'm happy. Fiorentina are a big team and a beautiful city." He added that his former Bayern teammate Luca Toni had encouraged him to move to Florence. Kevin Prince Boateng, who joined Fiorentina from Sassuolo this summer after his loan spell at Barcelona ended, tweeted a picture of himself with Ribery, captioned, "He's here. Welcome, Monfrere."
And that sports item ends our news bulletin. On behalf of everyone who worked to bring you this bulletin, my name is Vanessa Victor. Thank you for watching and good night.